Okay, as you can see, I sided this wall already. The weather's been kind of crappy lately, but I needed to get that done, so I didn't film myself because this is my wife's little garden right here. She grows some herbs and some lettuces. She wanted to get that painted, so I had to side that. So now we're going to side this. So we're going to learn a little bit about vinyl siding. First thing I'm going to do is right here, if you look at the window, this, let me see if I can get it. This is called J-channel. So I wrap this around the whole window, all the way around, so that the end of the siding had something to go into and hide the end. You never want the end of raw siding, cut siding, to be, you know, just end right here. It would look like crap. So we put it in J-channel on the end. That end, it ends inside of a corner, which has J-channel built right in. All right, so I'm going to show you how to cut J-channel. All right, okay, so I'm set up right here. I have my table set up like from the well house. I'm going to do all my cutting here for my siding. J-channel is called J-channel because, I don't know, it looks like a J. I don't know if it's backwards there for you guys, but it looks like a J. Siding goes inside of it, hides the edges. Okay, when we cut siding, if we don't use the saw, if we use the circular saw, we turn the blade around backwards so that we have friction cutting. If we're cutting by hand, we use tin snips or aviation snips. These yellow-handled ones are the ones I prefer to use. Some of the guys prefer different brands, but this is what I like. And it cuts very easy, so I can just, you know, cut from the back, cut from the front, bend it over, and cut that piece off. Now where we join them in a corner, we don't want them to come down and just go like that. Things wouldn't look right. This would get in the way. So we're going to cut them out. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from the front. I'm going to cut this right here. And then from the back, I'm going to cut that out of the way. So it looks like that. I'm going to do the same to this one. So that when the two of these come together, they overlap just like that. And what I can do, the one that's overlapping, I cut a 45-degree angle in it, it looks like a nice mitered edge. So that's what I'm going to do around the window on the other side. I'm going to go do that, nail that on, and then I'll come back and show you some siding, okay? So that's J-channel. Okay, so I've wrapped the window with J-channel. I put J-channel up under that eave right there, and you can see I've also put this gray paper on. This is called Typar. It's basically a moisture barrier. So I put that on, help keep moisture. It's a one-sided, one-way fabric, basically, so it doesn't allow moisture and water to get into the house, but it allows it to come out and breathe. So most houses have that. So I did that here, and you can see it looks already cleaner already. So now I'm going to just start siding. I've already put the first piece in, so the bottom gets that. I wanted to get that in and get it dug back in. Siding, I'm going to come over here. Siding comes in long lengths, 12 foot 6 inches actually. Actually, most of the parts do. The J-channel we talked about comes in 12 foot 6 inch lengths. Siding comes in 12 foot 6. This siding here is what's called a D4. Give me a second here. I'm going to pull one out from underneath. So it's called a D4, which means, let's see. This right here is 4 inches. This is 4 inches. So it's a double 4. D4 double 4. You can get vinyl siding in triple 3, double 5, single 8. But double 4 is the most common. So that's what I'm doing. If you look at the end of this piece of siding, you see that's cut out there, and it's cut out at the bottom of the back. That's the end of the sheet. That's a factory end. That's what they all look like. So if I come over to these full sheets, I can see that's cut out down there. If I go down the other end, it's cut out down there. That's because when we overlap them, let me go down here again and see if I can get a piece that's the right side. Really? I don't have any? Oh, right here. All right, so if I have these two pieces, and in the body of the house where there's lots of overlap, pieces only 12 foot 6 inches long, you always want to only overlap factory to factory. They're made to fit together. It's hard to do it here because there, I kind of got it to fit, but it doesn't snap in. So it fits together so that when you look at it from one side, you can see the overlap. But if I come over here and you look at it, it's very hard to see that overlap. So you want to make your overlaps so they're not visible from wherever you're going to be standing most of the time. Okay? When I measure, so when I measured that siding right there, I measured from inside J-channel or corner board, whatever, to inside of the other one, the other side, and then I minus 1/2 inch. I want 1/4 inch space on each end. And that's for expansion and contraction. Vinyl siding moves a lot. So we want that to be spaced out. When we nail it, vinyl siding has these nailing fins. You want to nail into studs in the house. Okay? I'm not too worried about it because I have a lot of plywood and siding I'm nailing into, so I'm not too worried about it. And you want to make sure you nail this loosely. So when you nail this in, don't nail it in tight. Nail it so it stays loose. You should be able to take any siding panel that's nailed right and grab it, and it should slide back and forth. If it doesn't slide back and forth 1/4 inch or so, it's nailed too tight. And what happens when the sun hits it and it starts to expand, it'll start getting what we call, it's called oil canning. If you see ripples in your siding, it's because it's nailed too tight. So I don't know if you have any questions on vinyl siding, you know, ask them. I'll see what I can do. Obviously it's a lot harder here than it is at school. You know, we were supposed to build a shed this spring and side it. So okay, so I've sided up this far here, and I'm going to do a few more pieces to show you how to do it. We'll grab some more nails. Basically, the siding clips into each other. The back of the piece of siding has a lip, so I'm going to slide it inside the J, bend it a little bit, slide it inside the J there, the corner, snap it in. You got to hear that snap, and I should be able to move it. This moves very easily. So I'm going to move it, center it. Then all I'm going to do is throw some nails in it. Push it up, push so it's snug. Nail about every 16 inches or so. Alright, so this next one, you can see I have a window in the way. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up where it would go. Get my pencil and I'm going to mark it. So I'm going to mark inside the J channel there, inside the J channel there. So I have it marked, and then I'm going to take my tape measure. Now when I mark that, I'm keeping about 1/4 inch away from the inside of this. Okay? I'm going to measure up under here. I have 5 1/4, 5 1/4. That worked out good. So it's 5 1/4. I'm going to minus 1/4 inch. Take 1/4 inch off of that because I don't want it to touch it. So I'm going to cut it 5. So I'm going to leave on 5 inches here. So I'm going to measure up 5. I'm going to draw that line, draw this line, and that piece is going to come out. I'm going to cut that out, put that in, and then the rest of these are just little pieces, and when I get to the top with the angles, it's going to suck a little bit, but we'll figure it out. All right? Cool. Okay, so I got that piece in, snapped right in. I don't know if you can see there, but it's about 1/4 inch off. One thing I did, if you look at these corners, the two walls come together. The bottoms of the siding, can you see my finger in there? Where am I? Down here. Bottoms of the siding line up. That's what you want. If those didn't line up, it would look like crap. And, you know, if I was a customer and those didn't line up, I would make you do it again. So you got to be careful. So there and around this corner, we want them to line up, which they're pretty close here. So we did a good job. If they don't line up, that's just a poor job. Okay, so you want that to happen. So I'm just going to continue siding now. This will probably be the last video on this. unless I get up there and decide that you need to see something. But it's just figuring out angles, cutting, and nailing pieces on. All right, cool.